Earth. Once a beacon of laughter, now shrouded in fear. Giant ships, sleek and silver, blotted out the sun. They arrived silently, ominously from the depths of the unknown. Humanity, for all its advancements, stood paralyzed. This wasn't a friendly visit, this was conquest. From the belly of the ships descended figures of immense power, women tall and ethereal with skin like polished obsidian, their eyes pools of molten gold, burned with ancient wisdom and chilling authority. The queens, they were called in hushed whispers, conquerors of worlds. Panic spread like wildfire. Cities once bustling with life became ghost towns, people huddled in their homes, praying for a miracle. They knew the stories, the legends of the queens, ruthless, unforgiving. Governments crumbled, their carefully crafted systems of power dissolving into chaos. The world held its breath, waiting for the inevitable. Resistance, it seemed, was futile. Who could oppose such power? But in the heart of the storm, defiance flickered. A man ordinary in appearance, extraordinary in spirit. His name was John. No superpowers, no advanced weaponry, just an unyielding will and a stubborn refusal to bow. John, the librarian, the quiet neighbor, the man who always stopped to help an elderly woman cross the street. He became a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. He wouldn't fight with weapons. He would fight with something far more potent. Courage. Word of John's defiance reached the queens. Amusement flickered in their eyes, followed by a cold curiosity. They summoned him, a single man before the conquerors of galaxies. The world watched, holding its breath. "You dare defy us?" The queen's voice echoed, resonating with power. "We who have brought countless worlds to their knees?" John met their gaze, his own steady and unwavering. "Some things," he said, "are worth fighting for, even against impossible odds." Section 5. The Audacity of Hope. A tense silence stretched, punctuated only by the sound of John's steady breathing. The queens exchanged glances, a flicker of something akin to respect in their eyes. "And what is it that you fight for, little human?" "Freedom," John stated, his voice firm. "The freedom to live, to love, to carve our own destiny." His words, simple yet powerful, echoed in the vast hall. The queens for the first time seemed uncertain. Section 6. A Glimmer of Understanding. The Lead Queen, her eyes narrowed, studied John. Her golden eyes, piercing and unyielding, seemed to search his very soul, seeking the truth behind his words and actions. "Your people cower in fear," she stated, her voice echoing through the grand hall. "The fear is palpable, almost tangible, as if it has a life of its own. They have no stomach for a fight," she continued, her tone laced with a mix of disdain and curiosity. "They avoid conflict, their spirits seemingly broken." John smiled, a sad, knowing smile. It was a smile that spoke of countless battles fought and lost, of dreams shattered and rebuilt. "Fear is a powerful weapon," he conceded, his voice steady. "It can paralyze, it can control, it can destroy. But it is not the only one," he added, his eyes burning with a fierce determination. "There are other forces at play, forces that can be just as powerful, if not more." He gestured towards his heart. "We also have hope," he said, his voice filled with conviction. "Hope is a beacon, a light in the darkness, and the will to fight for what we believe in," he continued, his voice rising. "It is this will, this unyielding spirit that drives us forward, that keeps us going, even in the face of insurmountable odds." His words seemed to strike a chord. The queen's expression shifted, a flicker of something unidentifiable crossing her face. The queen's gaze softened, just a fraction. It was a subtle change, but it was there, a glimmer of understanding, perhaps even empathy. "Hope," she echoed, her voice a low murmur. "A curious thing," she mused, as if tasting the word for the first time. It was a concept that seemed foreign to her, yet intriguing. She contemplated his words, the idea of hope swirling in her mind. It was a seed, small and fragile, but with the potential to grow into something powerful. She looked at John with a new perspective, her eyes meeting his. Perhaps, she thought, there was more to these humans than she had initially believed. In that moment, a silent understanding passed between them. It was a small step, but it was a step towards something greater, something that could change the course of their worlds. Section 7. The weight of the world, the fate of humanity, it seemed, rested on the shoulders of this unassuming man. The weight of their expectations, their fears, their hopes, pressed down on him, yet he stood tall, his spirit unbroken. He knew the odds were stacked against him, but he also knew that sometimes all it takes is one voice, one act of defiance, to spark a revolution. Section 8. A moment of truth. The tension in the air was palpable. The queens, their expressions unreadable, conferred amongst themselves in hushed whispers. Finally, the lead queen stepped forward. Her eyes, once cold and distant, held a flicker of something akin to admiration. "You possess a rare courage, human," she admitted, "a quality we have not encountered in millennia." John nodded, his gaze never wavering. He knew this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. Section 9. The power within. "We will grant your people a chance," the Queen announced, her voice echoing through the hall. Her presence was imposing, her eyes piercing through the crowd as if she could see into their very souls. "A chance to prove their worth," she continued, her tone both regal and commanding. The room fell silent, every ear straining to catch her every word. "To show us that they are more than just a species ruled by fear. The humans, a diverse group from all walks of life, stood together, their faces a mix of determination and apprehension." John felt a surge of hope, a feeling he hadn't experienced in what felt like an eternity. His heart raced as he realized the gravity of the moment, a glimmer of light in the darkness. He had done it. Against all odds, he had managed to secure this opportunity for humanity. It was a small victory, but a crucial one. He had bought humanity time to regroup, to strategize, and to find a way to prove their worth to the alien overlords. But the fight was far from over. John knew that this was just the beginning. The real challenge lay ahead, and it would require every ounce of strength and courage they could muster. He knew he had to unite a fractured world, to bring together nations that had long been at odds. It was a daunting task, but one that he was ready to face head-on, to inspire them to rise above their fear, to look beyond their differences and see the common goal that bound them all together, and embrace the courage that lay dormant within them. It was a call to action, a plea for unity and bravery in the face of overwhelming odds. The power within each individual was the key to their survival, and John was determined to unlock it. Section 10. An unexpected alliance. The Queen raised her hand and a hush fell over the hall. "We will leave one of our own behind," she declared, her voice ringing with authority. A collective gasp rippled through the gathered crowd. But the most shocking revelation was yet to come. The Queen who stepped forward, her face veiled, was not unknown to John. It was the Queen he had met in his dreams, the one who had shown him kindness, who had shared with him the secrets of her ancient race. Section 11. Revelation. In the dimly lit room, shadows danced on the walls, creating an atmosphere thick with anticipation. The air was heavy, almost tangible, as if the very molecules were holding their breath, waiting for the moment of truth. The veil fell away, revealing a face that mirrored John's own. It was a moment suspended in time, a heartbeat that seemed to stretch into eternity. The shock of recognition was like a jolt of electricity coursing through his veins. His sister, long thought lost, stolen away by the Queens years ago. The memories flooded back, each one a painful reminder of the day she vanished. He had searched for her, never giving up hope, but as the years passed, hope had turned to despair. She had returned, not as a captive, but as a leader, her eyes blazing with a power that rivaled that of the Queens themselves. Her presence was commanding, her aura almost palpable. She was no longer the sister he remembered. She was something more, something greater. The truth hit John like a physical blow. It was as if the ground beneath him had shifted, altering the very fabric of his reality. He struggled to process the enormity of what he was witnessing. He was not just an ordinary man. The realization dawned on him slowly, like the first light of dawn breaking through the darkness. He had always felt different, out of place, but now he understood why. He was the heir to an ancient lineage, a lineage that predated humanity itself. This lineage carried with it a legacy of power and responsibility, a burden that now rested squarely on his shoulders, and his fight, he now realized, was not just for Earth, The scope of his mission expanded in his mind, encompassing not just his home planet but the entire cosmos. The stakes were higher than he had ever imagined. It was for the very soul of the cosmos. The weight of this revelation settled over him, a mantle of responsibility that he could not shirk. He knew that the battles to come would test him in ways he could not yet comprehend, but he was ready. The fate of the universe depended on it.